Okay, everybody. Allah bless all of you. And we stopped last time at these two exercises. Everybody, mute yourselves until I need somebody. Abdul Qadir, mute yourself. Thank you. Mute yourselves, guys, until I need somebody to be unmuted to ask him about something or to check from him something. All right, guys, we stopped last time on page number 20. Exercise 5, letter A and B. We were about to start letter C. But before I start letter C, I need some good students that remember what we said last time about the use of you in the article and about the difference between should and could. To say to me, why was the personal pronoun you used a lot in the previous article? Who can answer? Who can answer? Why was the personal pronoun you used? Ammar, go ahead. May Allah bless you.
Because the article is giving instruction, so the writer is imagined to be talking to the reader.
Bravo. Excellent. Everybody, have you heard Ammar saying what? Because the writer is imagined to be talking to the reader in instruction giving article. Any article or any piece of writing that has instructions, the writer in it is imagined to be giving these instructions to the reader. That's why we use the word you, which is the second person pronoun in English. Thank you very much. That's perfect. I need another person than Ammar, another one, to tell me the difference between should and could. We have written that already. I have written that in the chat for you, and you have supposedly copied that in your notebooks. Who can tell me the difference between should and could?
I know.
Okay, Yassine, go ahead.
The difference between should and could. Should is used to give advice. For example, you should study hard to succeed. And
Bravo.
could is used to
So again, 1 minute, Yassine. Yassine said should gives advice or used in giving advice or recommendation, like you should study hard to succeed. Gives recommendation or advice. What about could, Yassine?
Could is used to express possibility or ability. For example, you could swim across the canal, or that result could happen. These
Excellent. It can express either possibility or ability. So you can say examples such as you could swim across the canal. You could swim across the canal. This is ability. What about a possibility example, Yassine?
That result could happen.
Bravo, that result could happen. Excellent. That result could happen. This is possibility. But when I say he could swim across the canal, I'm expressing ability. So the word could, according to the context it's used in, can sometimes express possibility and other times express ability. But should is different. Should is used for advice or recommendation. Okay, guys. Would anybody else say anything about these summaries that Ammar and Yassine said? Would anybody else want to repeat in his own words what they said, or any one of them? Or move to the next exercise? Does anybody have anything to say, guys? Any participation or any idea to share? Okay, let's start C. Now, read the key point below on the modal verbs. Think of a board game you know how to play. Write a half-page description of the rules for playing the game. Now think of any board game. Can be chess, can be checkers, can be whatever board game that you can play, and you can explain in the style of instructions the way it is played. Address the reader as you. So you follow the same style. You will address the reader. Address means speak to. Here, address means speak to. Address the reader as you, and use conditional if sentences including should and could as in text to be, in case you explain some advice for the player or some possibility of the game options. So if you speak about game option possibilities, you say could. You speak about advice or instructions or recommendations for the player while explaining how the game is played, use the word should, and so on. So it depends on what you use and how you use it. Here, the key point, as you see, who can read, guys? Who can read this part? Would like to volunteer to read? Modal verbs. I gave you before the modal verbs. You remember them? They are 10. And they are the verbs that cannot be used independently. They must have a main verb after them. What are they? Who remembers the 10 modal verbs, guys?
Mr. Do I read modal verbs?
Yes, Mohsen. Do you remember them first before we begin reading? Do you remember what these modal verbs are? We took them before. Who remembers the 10 modal verbs? They are 10. Who remembers them? Will, would,
Have.
shall, huh? Help me. Imagine that I don't know, guys. Help me. Huh? Will, would, shall, should, can, could, may, might, must, and had to or ought to. British prefer to use ought to as the past of must, and Americans prefer to use had to, but both are correct options. All right. Now, who would like to read? Mohsen would like to read?
Yes.
Go ahead, Mohsen.
Modals are auxiliary verbs which
auxiliary verbs,
can be
Mohsen, mean auxiliary verbs mean helping verbs, just coming to help. These verbs come to help. They are not main verbs in the sentence. All right. Modals are auxiliary verbs which can be followed directly by
main verbs. In the infinite without to the
in the infinitive. In the infinitive. Infinitive means the original form of the verb without to. Good. Go ahead.
Mr. What is the meaning of infinity?
The original form, infinitive, guys, is the original form of the verb. For example, go, went, gone. What is the infinitive of go, went, gone? Is go, without adding es, without adding anything. This is the bare infinitive of it. And if we say full infinitive, it is to go with to. But of course, the modal verbs, auxiliary verbs especially, are the auxiliary verbs and modal verbs especially are followed by the verb directly without the use of to. I say will study. Can I say will to study? Can I say must to study? Or will study, must study? Can I use to with them?
Will.
No. That's why the book says the infinitive without to. Infinitive, as we said, to must.
Infinitive without to.
Original form of the verb without to. Will study, must study, can study, without to. All right.
They include the forms of the verb have and be. You have learned about would, which is used as the past tense of will for
repetitive actions. Repetitive actions that are repeated.
In the past and in conditional.
Giving condition, like if, when say conditional sentences, like if sentences. If something happens, something else will happen. These are called the conditional sentences.
Conditional sentences to express something which is possible under
certain circumstances. Exact. Yes. E.g. For E.g. means what? Who remember?
Example.
For example, bravo. E dot, G dot.
Example, if he worked
more hours.
If he worked more hours, he would earn more money.
Bravo. If he worked more hours, he would earn more money. What is the conditional sentence, guys? The conditional sentence is if he worked more hours. But the second sentence is called the result sentence. He would earn more money. The conditional means if he worked more hours, I'm giving just a stipulation. If he does, what is the result? He would earn more money. It's called the result sentence. Okay, Mohsen, go ahead.
Could is the past tense
Tense
of
of
can.
Bravo.
It is less definite.
Definite. It is less definite.
Less
And
definite than would, but it can also be used to
indicate something which is possible. Yes. So it is still, as I told you, and as Yassine told you also when he was giving us the difference, could still means possibility, even if it is less definite than would, but it still gives us possibility. Yeah, to indicate something which is possible as a suggestion or prediction. For example, e.g., he could try again later, right? What is the meaning of he could try again later? It is possible that he will try again later. And instead of saying it is possible that he will try again later, we just say he could try again later. So it gives possibility in a fast way. You understand, Mohsin?
Yes.
Does everybody understand? Abdullah Hindi, do you understand?
Yes, mister.
Everybody, you get that point? And instead of saying it is possible that he will try again later, we just say he could try again later. See, it saves time. Okay? She could do really well in the
Something
place.
to edit.
Yes, go ahead. Read the last sentence.
Something which is possible as a suggestion
Suggestion.
or
Mohsin, say it again. Suggestion. Say suggestion. Repeat after me.
suggestion.
Bravo.
Suggestion.
Or prediction.
Prediction. Example, he could try again later.
Bravo.
She could do really well in the race.
Excellent, Mohsin. May Allah bless you. Thank you very much, guys. That's perfect.
Mr. Darid is the other one in the next